process involving a lot of designing ideas till you feel comfortable with your work. You will find yourself spending time coming up with different approaches or sketches for layouts, buttons, and color coordination. For this template, we will be using a target resolution of 1024 by 768 because a lot of users out there are still using that. Now, you don't want to make your layout exactly 1024 pixels because all the extra stuff browsers include, so some breathing space is needed. We will design our template using 960 pixels wide, a method which has become very popular for fixed websites. And in this tutorial, we will use Photoshop to create a basic website layout and give you a head start. Alright, inside Photoshop now, I'm going to go to the File menu and open up this Web Template 1 file, which I am providing for you. So double click on it. And inside the file, you can see that I have two folders for you. The Feature Slider folder, which if you open that up, you can see that we have 3 sample slider images. And then if you open the social icons, you can see that we have a Twitter icon, Facebook icon, and Flickr icon, both of which we're going to be using a bit later. Also, before we begin, make sure that you have the swatches, the character, and the info palette accessible to you, and you can do this from the window menu. As for the swatches, I'm using specific colors for this composition. So I went ahead already and I saved these colors for you as a swatch. So go to this flyout menu right here, select Load Swatches, and double click on the Web Template swatch. And now you can see these colors have been added, and these are primarily the colors that I'm going to be using. Alright, so let's create a new layer here. Double click where it says Layer 1 and rename this to BG for background. And for this background color, I'm going to be using a dark gray. So bring up your color picker and type 333, 333. Click OK. And now this dark gray is my foreground color, which I'm going to use to fill this. And the shortcut for this is Alt Backspace or Option Delete on the Mac. Alright, let's create a new layer. I'm going to double click where it says Layer 1 and I'm going to rename this Header. Now for this header, I want to have a specific width and height. If I go to the Image menu and choose Image Size, you already have 960 because I want this to be 960 by 60. So I'm going to go to the info palette here. I'm going to be looking at these numbers, the width and the height. So the width will say 960 and the height 60. So select the rectangular marquee tool and click and drag till you see 960 by 60. Like so. Okay. Now I'm going to fill this with a different foreground color. So go to the swatches and select the color and fill this with a foreground. Alt Backspace, Option Delete. Next go to the Select menu, deselect. Alright. For this header now I'm going to create some layer styles to it. So I'm going to double click and first I'm going to create a gradient overlay here. And for the gradient, click on it, click on the first stop, then choose the color, and let's choose this one here, and click OK. And for the second color stop, click on it, and choose a light gray, that will be CCC. Click OK, click OK. And then for the blend mode from the drop-down menu, I'm going to use a contrast blend mode of soft light. I'm going to keep the opacity to 100. I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to fill this with a specific pattern which I'm going to create. So go to the File menu, click New, and have a width of 2 by 2. And from the background contents, use transparent. Click OK, and then zoom in all the way. For foreground, I'm going to have black, so press D on your keyboard. And then go ahead and select the rectangular marquee tool. Click and drag once. Hold down the Shift key to add to your selection. Click and drag again. And then Alt Backspace or Option Delete on the Mac to fill this with a foreground. Select menu, deselect. Edit menu, define pattern. And you can call this, if you wish, dots, or give whatever name you wish. You can close that up, you don't need this anymore. And then I'm going to double click where it says effects here, go to the pattern overlay, and from the list I'm going to use the last pattern that I just created. Click on it, click OK. Here we go. Alright, now I'm going to add some text here. So for the color of the text, I'm going to use this color right here. So click on it, select the type tool, choose a font that you like, and then just type my website, for example. Okay, and here's the character, and I'm using something bold. Alright, I'm going to zoom in now to see what I'm doing here. And then I'm going to bring out the layers, styles of this top layer. And for the drop shadow, I'm going to use a color from the swatches palette. I'm going to choose this color right here. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to uncheck this and make sure that this is 90 degrees. I don't want to use global light. I want each one of them to have their own angles. And then blend mode to normal, distance of 2, size of 0. So that will be before and after. Now for the inner shadow, I'm going to use black as I have right now here, distance of 2, and then size of 0, and then uncheck where it says use global light, and we're going to use 120. As for the drop shadow, maybe I can go this to 1. It won't make a big difference anyway. So I'll skip it to 1 for now. And lastly, for the gradient overlay, I'm going to use gradient from black to white, blend mode, multiply, and I'm going to bring this down all the way to, let's say, 10%. I'm going to click OK, and that will be before and after. Okay, so let's zoom out here, and this is what we did. Now I'm going to make sure that this my website text is vertically and horizontally centered in relation to the header. So select those two, center this vertically and horizontally. Another thing that I would like to do is I'm going to create a new layer right here. I'm going to make sure that I have black for foreground, and then I'm going to hold down the mouse here and select the single row marquee tool. Just to click once here, and then fill this with a foreground. So Alt backspace or Option delete on the Mac. Select, deselect. Let's rename this right here where it says layer 1, and that will be horizontal line. I'm going to zoom in a bit right here. I'm going to select the move tool. I'm going to use my up arrow key to bring this up. Okay, then zoom out, and I'm going to use those 3 layers and I'm going to put them in their own folder. So you can select those 3 layers, the my website, horizontal line, and header. Hold down the shift key and then go to this flat menu right here and select new group from layers. So I'll say this group is the header group. Click OK, and there you have it. Make sure you save as you go. Now I'm going to create the navigation bar and our buttons. So I'm going to create a new layer. I'm going to double click where it says layer 1, and I'm going to rename this nav bar. Then I'm going to go to the info palette here, and I'm going to be looking at the width and height. I'm going to use the same width, 960 pixels, and for height we're going to use 50 pixels. So once again we're going to select the rectangular marquee tool, which we're going to click and drag all across till we get 960 by 50. Like so. And I'm seeing here the numbers. Then go to the swatches palette, select the color you're going to fill that in, press Alt backspace or Option delete on the Mac to fill this with the foreground color. Go to the select menu, deselect. Then select the zoom tool, zoom in a bit, select the move tool, and use your up arrow key to move this up, like so. Double click the zoom tool to zoom 100%. And next I'm going to create the first button. So for that I'm going to use the rounded rectangle tool. The radius, the corner radius will be 3 pixels. Then when you click on this arrow, you're going to see the rounded rectangle options. So I want the button to have a fixed size. So select the fixed size, and for the width type in 120, and for the height type in 24. Now before you do anything, make sure you have the shape layers option selected. Now when you do that, Photoshop will automatically create on a new layer as a vector shape, which means you can resize and edit the shape without losing resolution, and all your curves and edges will always remain sharp. So let's do that. So click once, and now we have a new layer here, and we have a vector shape. Now I'm going to double click where it says shape 1 and rename this BTN1, which we're going to change the color, and you can do it 2 ways. You can just double click on the solid color fill and you can change the color, or I'm going to cancel this. You can just choose the color you're going to use and then use your shortcuts Alt Backspace or Option Delete on the Mac. Now if you find that this outline is a bit distracting, go to the View menu, choose Show, and then you can hide target path. Now it's going to go away. Alright, I'm going to zoom in a bit here because I'm going to apply some layer styles to it, and then I'm going to double click to bring up the layer styles. So I'm going to use inner shadow, and the color of the shadow will be white. The blend mode will be normal. I'm going to uncheck use global light. I never use this, so all of them are independent from each other. I'm going to use 90 degrees, distance of 1, and the size of 2. Then I'm going to go down where it says gradient overlay, and I'm going to click on the gradient. The first color stop will be black as you already have it, and the second color stop, I'm going to click on the color and choose this one. Click OK, click OK, and then for blend mode I'm going to use this overlay blend mode, and also I'm going to lower its opacity to say like 30 something. Lastly, I'm going to go to the stroke. The size of the stroke will be 1 pixel. The position of the stroke will be inside, and the fill type I'm going to use gradient. Now for the gradient, I'm going to click on the gradient, the first color stop, click on the color, we use this color here, click OK, and the second color stop, click on it and use black, click OK, click OK, and for the angle I'm going to use minus 90 degrees, click OK, and here's the layer style. Double click the zoom tool to zoom 100%, and next what I'm going to do is I want to make a duplicate of this. So I'm going to hold down the Alt key with the option key on the Mac, and I'm going to click and drag, and as I do I'm going to hold down the Shift key to constrain my movement. Then I'm going to double click where it says button 1 copy and rename this to button 2. The only thing we need to do this to do on this button is to change its color. So double click here and just select and use this background color, this dark gray. Then I'm going to duplicate this. So again, Alt, hold down the Alt key of the option key in the Mac, click and drag, and hold down the Shift key as you do. Double click here and rename this button 3. Let's make one more duplicate here. I'm going to rename this button 4. Now I want to distribute the space between the buttons evenly. So I'm going to hold down the Shift key and select all these 4 buttons. And also you make sure that you have the Move tool selected. And when you do that, the Alignment Options bar is displayed along the top of the screen. Now the first 6 icons in the row are the Align options, and the next 6 icons in the row are the Distribute options. And because I want to distribute the space between the buttons evenly, I'm just going to choose this one here, which is the Distribute Horizontal Centers. Before I do that, just pay attention here, the space in between those. And there's a slight movement. Now next what I want to do is I want to select the Type tool, and I'm going to go to the character here. I'm going to select and use a light color. I'm going to use a light gray. And click OK. I'm going to click once and type Home. Now I want Home to be vertically and horizontally aligned in relation to the button 1. So I'm going to select home as already selected, and then hold down the control key, the command key of the Mac, and select button 1. And then I'm going to go right here, align vertical centers, and align horizontal centers. And now it's centered in relation to the button 1. Okay, now let's zoom in just a bit. I'm going to select the Move tool, hold down the Alt key, the Option key of the Mac, click and drag, double click, rename this Portfolio. Okay, and we're going to do the same here. We're going to center this in relation to the second button. So hold down the Control key or the Command key of the Mac, and then center this vertically and horizontally. Then select only Portfolio, and make another duplicate of this. Double click, rename this Resume. And I'm going to select Resume and button 3, and we're going to make one more duplicate of the resume. Hold down the Alt key or the Option key of the Mac, click and drag, hold down the Shift key, and then rename this Contact. Actually, we should do it here. Alright. Select button 4 as well, and make sure these are aligned together. Alright. Now, I want all of these text layers to have a drop shadow. So the way I'm going to do this is double click here, bring up the layer style. I'm just going to use the drop shadow. Let's say 100% here. Don't use global light. Distance of 1, size of 0. Just a small drop shadow. Now I'm going to right click here and copy this layer style, and I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to use the menu here. So go to the menu, layer style, paste layer style, and do the same here. Layer, layer style, paste layer style, and last one, this one. Okay. Alright, now these buttons here need to be vertically aligned in relation to the navbar. So I'm going to select all of these guys here, and then I'm going to align them vertically in relation to the navigation bar, and they are. But also all these buttons as a group, they have to be aligned with the navigation bar. So the way you do that is select all these 4 buttons and put them in a group. There are 2 ways to do this. Control G or Command G on the Mac to do that. And then you can double click and rename group 1, or I can undo this. I can go to the flat menu here and choose new group from layers, and now it gives you the option to rename it, and that will be navbar. Hit enter, return, and then select those 2, and then right here you can select and place this horizontally, and now they're in the center. The last thing you have to do is, of course, move this navbar layer inside the navbar group, because it belongs to that. And lastly, don't forget to save. Control S to save, or Command S to save. One technique that web designers use to get the message across is the featured area, which is the place to showcase content or a particular message, such as your portfolio, latest news, or a hot story. So I'm going to make the featured slider group right here visible. And as you can see, I have 3 sample slide images, which means when someone visits your website, the featured area will display your on-content images or any message you want to get across. So let's work on this a bit. I'm going to select the rounded rectangle tool. I'm still going to use the same radius. I'm going to click on the arrow to get the options, and for fixed sizes, I'm going to type in 690 by 250 pixels. Also, don't forget to use the shape layers option and just click once. Alright, I'm going to click and drag and bring this under the slide images here, and I'm going to double click to rename shape 1 into content area. Hit enter, return, and then what I want to do is I want to have all these sample slide images clipped to the content area. So the way you do this is select the sample slide 3, for example. Go to the menu and choose create a clipping mask. Now if you want to release that clipping mask, go back to the layer menu and choose release clipping mask. Another way to do it, which is faster, is to hold down the Alt key or the Option key on the Mac. Place the mouse right here, right in the middle of those two layers, and as you can see there are two intersecting circles. Click once, click again, click again. Now all of these layers have been clipped to the content area. Now what I want to do with this is to kind of make these images blend more into the whole composition. So I'm going to add some adjustment layers to that. So I'm going to go to the window menu, bring up my adjustments, and I'm going to add a black and white adjustment layer. So click once, and I'm going to leave it as is. I won't touch that. I'm going to go back to the adjustments and add a photo filter. Select color, change the color, go to the swatches, and use this color. Click OK, and I'm going to up the density to 100%. Now, as you can see, both of these adjustment layers are affecting the whole composition. So what we need to do is to clip those to the content area or to the layers below. So another way to do this is just to click on this icon. So click here, and this has been clipped. Click on this one, and clip that one as well. Okay, now they only affect the feature slider group. Also, I'm going to double click on the content area, go down to the stroke, size of 1, and outside stroke, and for color I'm just going to use this one. Click OK, click OK. Alright, now a featured area is not complete without navigation buttons. So users can skip from one slider to another. So let's build those. I'm going to select the ellipse tool this time. I'm going to click on the arrow to get the options. I'm going to select fixed size, and I'm going to type in 24 by 24. Again, don't forget to use the shape layers option, and just click once. I'm going to double click to change the color. I'm going to use a darker gray, and then I'm going to click one more time here to create the other one. Double click where it says shape 1 and rename this to left circle, and double click where it says shape 2 and rename this right circle. Alright, now I want to have those two circles vertically aligned in relation to the content area. So select the left circle, hold down the Control key or the Command key on the Mac to select those two, and then go right here and circle them vertically. Now do the same for the right circle. Click here, and both of these guys have been vertically centered in relation to the content area. Make sure only this is selected, so click, use your left arrow key on your keyboard to bring that closer to the content area. Do the same thing for the left, like so, and then select the type tool, go to character, change the color to white, click once, and twice type the less than symbol, like so. Use your move tool here to kind of center those. Select the type tool and do the opposite. Type the greater than symbol twice, like so, and use your arrow keys to kind of center that in relation to the circle. And here we have the feature area. Control S to save, Command S to save. Footer is the final piece of content located at the bottom of each page of your website, and usually provides links, shortcuts to other areas of your website, or contact information. In our example, our footer will have social buttons like Twitter, Facebook, and Flickr, as well as the copyright info. So I'm going to click and select the social icons group folder, make that visible, and as you can see, these are my social buttons here. And if you open that up, the whole folder consists of all this. And then I'm going to create a new layer below the social icons group folder. So I'm going to hold down the Control key or the Command key of the Mac and click here on the new layer icon. And as you can see, we have a brand new layer below the social icons group folder, which I'm going to double click, rename this footer. Then I'm going to choose and select the rectangle tool. I'm going to click and drag all across. Then I'm going to double click on the solid color fill to change the color. Go to your swatches, use this color. And then if this outline bothers you, go back to the view menu, show, and hide the target path. Then select the move tool and move this down. Use your down arrow key for that, like so. Now create a new layer, double click, rename this footer line. Go and select the single row marquee tool, click once, select the color you're going to fill that in, then press Alt Backspace or Option Delete on the Mac, go to the select menu, deselect, zoom in a bit, select the move tool and use your up arrow key to move that up, like so. Double click the zoom tool to zoom 100%, and select the type tool, go to your character, use a lighter color here, like so, click OK, and first type the copyright symbol. Now if you're using a PC as I am, hold down the Alt key and then on your numeric keyboard press 0169. If you're using a Mac, hold down the Option key and press G. Space 2012 period, all rights reserved, period. Select the move tool and move that closer to the edge, like so. Then select all these three layers and we're going to group those. So go to this flyout menu here, new group from layers, and rename this to footer and click OK. And now we also have the footer. Control S to save or Command S to save on the Mac. Now you have a direction of how to use and design a basic website template. There's a lot you can do and come up with your own creations using similar techniques. You just need to practice a bit and get inspired. This concludes this lecture, and thank you for watching Third Element Tutorials.